Okay, going ahead with the design of the residential building, which we have started with in the previous sessions. We have reached up to here, in which we have done the column locations. We have located the columns at the different places. We have satisfied ourselves that these columns do not interfere in the other places. These are up to our satisfaction, but at the same time, what we have also understood is that these columns have these positions as tentative positions. As we are designing, the column positions can change, the column sizes can change. Over here we have also understood another thing, that is the column minimum dimension has been made equal to the wall dimension, that is 23 centimeters or 230 mm. Let us just recollect what we had done last time. We have been given ground floor. So we have seen the ground floor. The ground floor looks like this. So the column positions can be seen on the ground floor, and we have been given the elevation also. The elevation looks something like this. That's the elevation we have already seen. So let me go again back to the first floor, the plan on the first floor. So then we are going to work on that, the plan. Now after having placed the columns, at the suitable locations, immediately the next task is to provide the beams. The beams have to be provided in such a manner that they carry the wall loads, but more important that the beams support the slabs. The slab, whichever is there, has to be totally supported on all its sides by the beams, unless the slab is an overhang or it's a cantilever slab. Okay, so as far as possible, try to have beams on all the sides. If it is pre-decided or decided that it is going to be a cantilever or a overhang, we may decide that we don't want a particular beam on a particular side. In the beginning, when we are placing the beams over here, we will decide that we will be providing the beams everywhere. Then as we check the plan along with the slabs and the beams, if we find that at a particular place beam is not necessary from architectural point of view, or from the designer's point of view that it should be a cantilever or a overhang, we will remove the beams. Sometimes also what happens is the beam locations come very close to one another. The beam placement becomes very close to one another. At that time also the beams can be removed. Okay, so let us start by placing the beams. And when I'm trying to place the beams, let me start over here. So let me just go over here in the beams. So I start by placing the beam right at the first corner. For the first room, I'm providing it from column to column, from column face to the column face. That's my first beam which I have placed. Second beam I would prefer placing over here. The first beam, please note, it is covering the full wall. That means the full wall thickness sits on the beam. Now the second beam which I'm placing on the other side, I'm giving it the width equal to the wall thickness. Though there is a partition wall over here, we keep all the wall thicknesses, we keep all the beam thicknesses equal. That helps the contractor also, and that helps the designer also. The designer does not have to change the beam designs. He can do the calculations easily by maintaining the width the same. The contractor, the fitter, the carpenter finds it also easier when he is providing the formwork over there on the site. Having provided the beam over here in this direction and over here in the other direction, we are looking at the other direction this way. That's one line and the other line. So you see that there is a beam over here connecting the column and column. And similarly in this direction, from column to column, we have the beam. Now look at this slab. This slab is resting on 1, 2, 3 and 4 beams. It is having beams on all the 4 sides. So obviously the load of this slab is taken care of by the beams which are on its periphery, on its perimeter. There is one beam here, one beam here, one beam here, and one beam here. So the total load of the slab goes on the 4 beams. At the same time, these beams so placed also take the load of the walls on them. So whatever is the wall which is there over here, it comes directly on the load, directly comes on the beam. Also we notice that this particular beam over here is spanning between one column over here and another column over here. So the reaction from this beam will be going in this column as well as this column. Similarly, in this direction, in the vertical direction, we have this beam being supported, being connected to one column over here, another column over here. So obviously this beam is supported on this column and this column. So the reactions from this beam will be going on either of these two columns. Similarly, look at this beam, horizontal one. It is connected to one column over here, another column over here. So the reaction of this beam will be going on to its support, there is a column, and to its other support on the right hand side, that is this. And this beam over here is connected with one column here, another column here. Obviously this beam gives a reaction to this column and reaction to this column. Having got this slab finished, we will have a look at the other slab. Now the next slab, obviously we will be providing one beam here, we have the beam here, and this. So that's my beam which is in this direction connecting one column to another column. On the left hand side, for this slab, there is always already a beam which is connected from column to column, so there is no worries. We'll see the right hand side. In the right hand side, we take from the column to column. Please note, we are taking from the column to the column the beam. So on the right hand side also there is a beam, and at the bottom, the question is, should I provide a beam here or should I provide a beam connecting the columns? Should I provide the beam under the wall or should I provide the beam under this or connecting this columns? The question is, if I just provide the beam over here and make this as one slab, the load of the wall will be coming on this slab. The load of the wall will be coming as a line load on this slab. Rather than that, what one would prefer or a structural engineer would do is take a beam supporting the wall load. So directly the wall load, whether it is partition load or whatever, the wall load would be directly going on the beam. Can you see this? We are providing a beam over here. We are providing a beam over here. So the slab load, this slab, its load directly goes on this beam. So now when I'm looking at this beam over here, I find that, when I look at this slab over here, the bedroom slab, I find that its load is shared by this beam on the left hand side, this beam on the right hand side, this beam over here on the top, and this beam on the bottom. Let us see about the connections of the beams. Now the top beam is well connected to the column and to the column. The wall load is going on the beam. Apart from the slab load, the wall which is there on top, its load is also going on the beam. The beam is connected to the columns, which means the reaction from this beam will obviously be going to this column and to this column. So both the columns participate in taking the load on the beam. The beam has the loads of the wall and the slab load coming on it. Now looking at this beam. This beam is connected to one column here and one column over here. This slab which is there gives the load on this beam from here to here. There are no issues. The load from this slab goes on the beam from here to here, and the beam is connected to this column and the beam is connected to this column. The reaction from this beam goes on to this column over here and it goes on to this column over here. Satisfactory. We don't have any problem regarding this beam. Let us have a look at this beam over here. The load from this slab goes directly on this beam over here, the vertical ones connecting this column as well as this column. The load goes on this beam. This beam takes the load from the slab, it takes the load from this partition wall and gives the reaction to this column, very much satisfactory. We don't have any problem. Now look at this beam. There is a beam over here. The load from this slab goes on this beam. Now this slab load, after going on this, will put a reaction on this beam, That means this is my one beam which is supported on this beam as well as this beam. Now the reaction from this beam will be going on this one as a point load over here, or a concentrated load over here, and a concentrated load over here also. This beam will be carrying the load of this slab as well as this wall load. If it is having any other load, we will be talking about that as the time comes. Right now we know that this slab load as well as this wall load comes on this beam, and this beam gives reaction over here on this beam and reaction over here on this beam. So these are two point loads at this point, on this beam. So absolutely no problem. This slab has been supported on 4 beams on all its 4 sides. The slab is supported on beams on all its 4 sides. There is no problem. One beam gives its reaction to another beam. This beam gives reaction to another beam, whereas all the other beams give reactions directly to the columns. Now let us go to the next portion over here. There is a small balcony portion. So what I would prefer doing is, I will take a beam over here. From the column, I will take it to the last point. That's my beam. I'll also take from the column here. That's my beam in this direction. Then I take one from here, this one. Now look at this particular slab. This is one of the most interesting cases which we have a look at. Now when I'm looking at this slab is supported by a beam here, it is supported by a beam here, it is supported by a beam in this direction, it is supported by a beam in this direction. Now when we look at it, the slab is totally supported by beams on all the 4 sides. Now let us look at the beams. The first beam. Now this beam is supported on the column over here, and on the right hand side this beam is supported by this one. So what I'll have to do is, I'll have to show that this beam ends over here and this beam goes from here up to the last point. Now this beam gives reaction to this column. This beam gives a point load over here. Now the slab also transfers its load on this beam. Now this beam, this one is a small portion. It's a continuation of a long beam from here to here. There is no problem. It will be giving reaction to this one. It will be giving reaction to this one. Now this load gets transferred to this. This load gets transferred to this, and as it gets transferred to this beam, the reaction will be coming on this beam as a point load over here, as we have discussed earlier. So there would be a point load here, and the other side there would be a reaction going directly into the column. So this balcony slab, we have seen that there is a beam over here which gets supported on the column, and it's giving us a point load or a concentrated load to this beam. When we look at this beam, there is no problem. It's a continued one from here to here. It's a long one. So reaction can go to the columns. There is this beam. One side reaction goes to the column. One side reaction goes to the beam. Absolutely no problem. Now let's look at this beam. Now when I look at this beam, it's having reaction going to this column. Now over here it's having the point load coming to this. Now this beam over here is a continuous beam. So this beam has to be a continuing portion of another beam. So there has to be a beam over here, and then this becomes the overhang. There has to be a beam here, and this portion is the overhang continuation of this beam. So we will have to provide a beam over here, and this is the overhang for this beam. When there is an overhang over here, we know that from this beam there is a point reaction, point load over here, and the load from the slab gets transferred over here. The load from the parapet wall also comes on this beam. So that's how we have seen one slab, second slab, third slab over here. Now let me look at this, the kitchen slab. Now when I'm looking at the kitchen slab, it's already having a beam here on the left hand side, so the wall load is directly going on the beam. The slab load can easily be taken by this beam. The slab load can be taken up by this beam, no problem. Now in the other direction, from the face of the column to the face of the column, we have another beam. So from the slab the load goes on the beam, the load gets transferred on this beam, and in this direction we have here another beam. So we have, there is a slab, the load from the slab gets transferred on this wall, it gets the load from the slab gets transferred on this beam, the load from this slab gets transferred on this beam, this load gets transferred on this beam, and the load gets transferred on this beam. Now look at it. When we are looking at this beam takes the load from this slab, it takes the load of the wall and gives a concentrated load over here or a point load over here and a reaction over here. Observe one thing. When we are talking about this beam, the number of loads which the beam is taking are the load from this slab which goes on this beam. Obviously this slab is supported by this beam. The wall load which is going on this beam, its own self weight which obviously is there for the beam, and there is balcony beam over here. This balcony beam also would be contributing the load share in this. So load from the balcony, load from the kitchen slab, load from the wall, and its own self weight. All these loads will be going on this particular beam. This beam, when we solve as a simply supported beam, one reaction will be going into the column, other one will be coming as point load over here, and then this beam which we have gives its reaction to this column, gives its reaction to this column. This beam has the load coming from the kitchen slab on it, its own self weight, and the wall which is coming on top of it. Also observe that this beam would be continuing further as a overhang. So we have this beam which continues further as a overhang. Now if you observe, this part of the bay has been totally supported by the framework of columns, beams, and slabs. This slab supported on all the sides, this slab supported on all the sides, this slab supported on all the sides, this slab supported on all the four sides. Similarly, between the columns there is a beam, between these two columns there is a beam. Now over here this beam rests on the column and on this cantilever projection. So there is a overhang over here, this beam rests on that. This slab over here is connected to the column, one side it gives reaction to the beam. This beam connected to the columns, over here connection with the columns is strong. Similarly over here in this direction, this beam over here gives the reaction to one of these beams and one of these beams over here, and this one over here, this beam connects this column as well as this column. So now with this we have connected this full portion with a network of slab, beams, and columns. So as far as this part is concerned, this particular portion is ready with the framework.